are you today?
How are you?
Very good.
So where did you learn to speak Portuguese?
It's like a third language to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting.
Well, you look really good. I just thought I'd tell you that.
Thank you.
So
Thank
what's
you.
up with the new?
Likewise.
Oh, thank you. So what's up with the new project, F5? Tell us how that came about.
We have our second record just came out a couple of months ago here in America. It's coming out on a really cool record label called SPD for Europe, and actually next week, right after Namm.
Oh.
Yeah, and so we're actually playing a show here at Winter Namm for Sabian, who's a cymbal manufacturer, who are drummer Jimmy DeGrasso, who I've played with quite a bit over the years, right? He's one of their endorsees and clinicians and whatnot, so actually playing a show over at the Sheraton for them. And just did a show with Alice Cooper and a handful of different things. So, and you should have some videos now that you can play.
Yes.
Some live things that we did, as well as some actual proper videos, music videos. So yeah, it started in 2003, and first record came out in 05, and here we are in 09.
What does F5 stand for?
Our former drummer watched the movie Twister, and an F5 is, I guess, the highest category rating of the most deadly tornado. So that was what he thought of when he saw it. He said, F5, that's cool. And I said, yeah, but I'm not into the tornado. I grew up in the Midwest, right? So I'm into tornado.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I grew up in Minnesota, right? So the tornado thing I thought was a little cheesy, but F5 I thought, yeah, you know, force of five guys, all right, that makes sense. We'll go with it.
Okay, you have a book. Your book called Making Music Your Business.
Right.
It was a guide for young musicians. It's a very good, quick, and informative, I guess like a really informative way of letting these kids know that there's a whole other side to the music business. You have things in there like about attorneys, publishing as well, and recording, promotion, traveling, all that stuff. Yeah, the whole nine, all kit and caboodle. Do you still think that there are a lot of young musicians nowadays that have the wrong concept about what this music really, that's what this business is like? I mean, you have downloading, you have everything. It's just like a whole other world now.
You know, when I was coming up in the music business, I kind of got in at the very end of kind of the big glory days, so to speak, right? Where there were major labels and big tours and videos on big TV stations as a way to break a band. But now, you know, with the internet, with YouTube, with MySpace, with all these different things, I think a lot of kids now have kind of figured a lot of this stuff out, because the model of how I did it and those rules, they still apply if you're playing the game over in that area, but most people aren't. Most people are able to start their band, make records, put up a website, put things on YouTube, and self-promote, which has given the power back to the artist, quite honestly. Problem is, there's not as much money, right? It's harder to make a living. And, right? In fact, people have been asking me to write volume 2 of the book, which I probably should do one of these days, right? So, and who knows if volume 2 would even be in print? Maybe it would even be like a webzine or an online download kind of thing, right? Just to even show how much even books and actual magazine publishing has changed as well.
Yeah, it's a whole other world out there.
Totally different, yeah.
And do you think that, okay, where do you see the future of metal? You've obviously been around this for longer than most of us, but where do you see it? And what do you think could change everything as far as downloading? You
know, as far as metal goes, there's, you know, a resurgence of thrash metal, which is cool because everything goes in cycles. And, you know, it kind of died off in the mid-90s because of different music scenes. You know, the Seattle scene, of course, became popular. So it's taken a while for it to become popular again. A lot of it is kind of maybe a bit of a recreation of what we did back in the late 80s, early 90s kind of thing, which I guess is a compliment on one hand, because, right, they're borrowing from what we did, and we borrowed from what someone else did, you know, and on it goes. But, you know, as far as, you know, more and more, everything's going, I mean, I haven't bought a CD in years.
What, do you download or something?
I pay for it, I mean, it's legal, but I buy everything online. I'll sit down and open up iTunes or Rhapsody or something and pay $1 and buy it. I'd rather do that because usually I need 1 or 2 songs. Sometimes I don't want to buy the whole album. Or if I do, I just pay $10, buy the whole album, and it's done. It's cheaper to buy it online than it is even to drive to the store and buy the CD.
Do you think that a lot of musicians, I mean, like, how important do you think it is for most musicians to be in touch with their creative side? And do you think it's really hard for them to get into that side after, like, a really bad experience with a band?
You know, here's the thing. I had a lot of really good experiences, quite honestly, from all that, and I don't look back on any of that with any, you know, shame at all. I mean, it was great. It was awesome. It was a great thing. But, you know, that ended, and it ended really, quite honestly, it was not something I chose to end. But one day that was the card that was played in my game of life. So from there, I just chose to keep moving forward. And what that did is it put me in touch with a whole bunch of new musicians, new artists, playing in different tunings, different types of music and stuff. So it was a very eye-opening experience, because when you're in a band, one thing that happens when you're in a band for a long time is you kind of get locked into, you can really only do one thing, because that's what your fans want you to do. They want you to hear you do that one thing all the time. And that can be creatively stimulating, you know, to only do one thing all the time, because you grow as a person, the band grows, people get frustrated, and that's why a lot of bands break up, members leave, and different things happen, and it's really hard to keep things together like that for long periods of time. So for me, since that group, I've done a ton of new things that have really been fun, they've been very rewarding, and partly just to like hook up with him, and hey, you want to play on this, and I usually say yes, because I'd rather live the experience than to like sit back and sit on the sidelines and go, wow, I wish I would have done that.
Well, that's because you have a backbone, that's why. And you want to keep doing good and being successful. Now, how would you say you get the really good guitar sound that you have? Would you say it's spontaneity, being a perfectionist, perhaps support by like really good producers, or having really cool gear?
You know
like
what?
Peavy.
It's a little bit of both. I mean, it's like, you know, when I see if I have a pick here, I think
he's got to pick, guys.
You know, when I pick up one of these instruments, and I pick it up and I play, even though you can't hear this, you know, and there's just a way that I play it and finger it and tack it, right? That gives it the sound that I get out of it when I play it. And I think that's the difference is after you play something for a long period of time, there's just, when you pick it up, your personality kind of comes right through the instrument. And so much, then it's not so much about what instrument you play, even though this is a beautiful one, right?
Oh, it's gorgeous, yes, yes.
But it's more, it's in your hands, right? Because your hands are connected to your soul.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I never thought about that. That's actually a really good way to explain things. It's good.
Right?
And what kind of equipment do you use nowadays?
You know what, I have a signature bass with Peavy called the Zodiac.
It's
and under the Zodiac, there's 12 signs of the Zodiac, and since I was born in November, I'm a Scorpio. So mine is the Scorpio. Are you a Scorpio?
Yeah.
When's your birthday?
October 23rd.
Wow, it's when my daughter's birthday is.
Oh,
my daughter Athena is October 23rd.
October 23rd.
I'm November 12th, so we're still under the Scorpio, right?
Yes.
So I have that, and then I also use some PD amplifiers that I've used for many, many years, actually, since late 90s or so. I mean, a big part of, you know, again, it's the equipment that I use. I love it. It sounds good, but I think ultimately it's in the hands.
It's in your soul, which connects to the hands. What amplifiers do you use specifically?
There's the tour
and pedals as well.
There's the tour series heads and the tour cabinets, and I don't use any pedals.
You don't?
None.
Oh. What's the liaison between bass and drums? Apparently you've done some projects with Jimmy DeGrazzo.
Right.
What was that like, and how did that come about?
Well, Jimmy, I brought Jimmy in now.
Why is he your favorite drummer?
You know what? Jimmy is funny. He came in and replaced Nick Menzo, which I was not excited about doing a member change until at some point it just had to be done. And then Jimmy came in, and Jimmy's a very seasoned player, great, but he actually makes me a much better bass player.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. His timing is great, and just playing with him, he's one of these guys that he kind of, I don't know, he sort of pushes me, you know, and we just play very well together. And you know what I've noticed, because we've done a couple of pretty big shows here lately with F5, and Jimmy's now playing in that with me. I don't even think, I'll be halfway through the show and go, I haven't thought about Jimmy the whole night, because that's how good he is. I just know that he's got his parts down, he knows what he's doing, and it just feels good when we play, and I don't even have to think about it. So, to me, that's probably the relationship between bass and drums, is that you work so well together that it's like brick and mortar.
Is he your favorite drummer?
I'd say so, yeah.
He is his favorite drummer.
Yeah.
Batero Rey.
Nice.
If kids want to hear more about your plans and your tour dates, where do we go?
Go to davidellefson.com, or if you're on MySpace, do myspace.com/DavidEllefson1.
Dave, thank you very
You
much.
are
and you have a
welcome.
message for your fans?
Yes.
Such as myself?
Sure. I thank you so much for all your support. I can't wait to get down and see you.